This is Nicole with Blowing Victoriously, and you are listening to the Previously Wounded podcast. Welcome back to another episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Actually, I shouldn't even say welcome back because we are starting fresh. You guys. So welcome to the first episode of the Previously Wounded podcast, the space where we heal, reflect, and rise through resilience. I'm your host, Nicole, your Kingdom Resilience Life Coach. And today, we're stepping into something deep, right? I want to talk about generational silence. Yeah, we're going to get there. This episode is for every woman who grew up hearing what happens in this house stays in this house. And I know I've heard that many times when I was a little girl, me and my sister. So we talking about that. Like, it's for every woman who learned to smile through pain, to survive instead of speak, and to protect people who never protected her truth. Okay? Today we're breaking the silence, not to point fingers, but to finally find our voices again, because it's time, y'all. We've been silent for so long, and silence it's not just keeping secrets, it keeps cycles alive, right? So let's start here. What exactly is generational silence? Generational silence is when pain, trauma, or emotional truths are kept hidden and passed down from one generation to the next, not through words, but through behavior. It's that unspoken agreement to never talk about the father who left, the abuse that we don't bring up, the mother's depression that nobody acknowledged, the way love was withheld or the truth was buried because talking about it was seen as betrayal. See, silence doesn't mean peace. It means pain got buried instead of healed, right? And when one generation buries pain, the next one inherits it, just dressed differently. That's how cycles form. When grandma didn't talk about her hurt, mama learned to pretend she was fine. And when mama pretended she was fine, you learn that speaking up makes people uncomfortable. That's generational silence. It's trauma's most loyal messenger. Because, see, even silence is silence says a lot, right? It teaches women to keep the peace, even if it costs them their voice. It teaches us that speaking truth is dangerous, that honesty is disrespectful, and that pain should be handled privately, even when it's killing us silently. So how does it happen? How does silence become a pattern? It often starts with survival. Right? Our mothers and grandmothers didn't always have the freedom or safety to express their emotions. They lived in those times when, sometimes in homes where silence was protection. Speaking truth could mean rejection, shame, or even danger. So silence became their armor. It's what protected them, but it's now what imprisons us. So, here's how it's passed down, right? Through one, emotional modeling. Children learn patterns from what they see, not just what they're told. If a child watches their mom cry in silence, hide emotions, or never explain her pain, that child learns that vulnerability is not safe. And then there's through communication patterns. Maybe you were told you talk too much or stop being dramatic. So you learn to shrink your truth to keep peace. And then there's the religious or the cultural silence. Sometimes faith, family, or cultures add another layer. Just pray about it. Don't question God. Respect your elders. And while prayer is powerful, don't get me wrong, prayer is powerful, it was never meant to replace accountability, truth, or healing conversations, though. And if you grew up being punished or dismissed for expressing feelings, anger, sadness, fear, your brain connects truth-telling with pain. So you avoid it. You shut down. That's not weakness. That's learned protection. Now, here's the hard truth, though. The hard truth about it is that silence doesn't make the pain go away. It just changes its language. It turns into depression, anxiety, overthinking, people pleasing, or emotional distance. It just shows up in relationships that lack emotional intimacy, in daughters who don't know how to talk to their mothers, and in women who love everyone except themselves. Silence can even affect your body. Migraines, tightness in your chest, fatigue, because your body holds the stories your voice was never allowed to tell. That one hits me personally. And spiritually, it causes disconnection. When you silence your truth, you silence the voice God gave you to heal. The same voice that was meant to speak life becomes buried under fear and shame, which is one of the main reasons for this podcast, is to just open the door, open the conversation, to release all of this. Like this, I specialize in resilience. And part of being resilient is just, breaking all of this stuff down. Breaking this stuff down and bringing it to the surface, and working through it, and then using it for gain, and not just letting it keep you buried. So, generational silence, it travels like a quiet storm. It doesn't need to be spoken, but it is felt. You might notice it when, your daughter starts acting just like you, strong but guarded, or when you find yourself saying, I don't want to talk about it, even though deep down you really want to talk about it. Yeah. And it's passed on when we avoid hard conversations with our children. We pretend like everything is fine, and we teach emotional suppression instead of emotional awareness. And then we tell our daughters to be strong, but we never teach them it's okay to feel. But, the thing is, children don't need perfect parents. They don't need perfect parents. They just need honest ones. And, when you tell your story, you give them permission to be whole. When you speak your truth, you stop the silence from spreading. So let's talk about healing, right? How do we overcome generational silence? I'm going to break down 5 keys I want you to hold on to, and then we can talk about them down there in the comments, okay? So, acknowledge the silence. That's number 1. Number 1 is acknowledge the silence. Say it out loud. In my family, we don't talk about certain things, and that ends with me. Awareness is your first act of rebellion against generational silence, okay? Number 2, tell the truth, even if it shakes. Tell the truth. Speak the truth gently, not angrily. Healing doesn't mean exposing every secret. It means refusing to live in denial. Okay? You can say, that hurt me. You can say, I need to talk about this. That's strength, not disrespect, right? Number 3, give your emotions a voice. You can journal, pray, cry, speak. You can't heal what you keep pretending does not exist. Okay, healing requires expression. Number 4, break the pattern with your children. Please start there. When your child asks hard questions, answer them. Show them that truth is safe. If they see you cry, let them see you heal too. All right, like we allow our children, a lot of us, we try to mask, our feelings in front of our children. But if you get to the point where your child does see you cry, allow them to see you heal. That's how you rewrite emotional language. Number 5, seek healing in your community. Okay, whether it's therapy, a woman's circle, your family, your faith family. Healing requires safe spaces. Okay, you don't have to carry decades of silence alone. No one should do it alone. It's very hard to do it alone. And a lot of times we aren't necessarily successful at doing it alone. Okay? The word says in John 8:32, then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. That verse isn't just about salvation. It's about emotional and generational freedom too. Truth breaks chains. The truth will break the chain, and silence keeps them locked. It's like It's like telling the password. It's like it's like giving the password, giving it permission to open, and just let it all out. Just expose it out in the opening, right? I want to close with a few questions for you to sit with today. The first one is, what truth in your family have gone unspoken for too long? Number 2, how has silence shaped your voice, your confidence, your relationships? Number 3, what story inside you is ready to be told, even if it trembles? You are not betraying your family by telling the truth. You are blessing future generations by setting them free. You are not being disrespectful by healing. You are being obedient to the God who wants to see you whole. Silence was survival, okay? But now survival is not enough. It's not enough. It's time to live. And if no one ever told you this, I'm proud of you for choosing truth. I'm so proud of you for choosing truth. You are the voice your bloodline has been waiting for. Okay? I am the one in my family who opened Pandora's box. And I let some truth out, honey. Put it in a book, okay? I remember someone telling me years ago to call the demon out by its name, expose it, and it will bring it into it. And I felt that deeply because I have children. And I don't ever want my children to experience what I experienced growing up, right? So I took it upon myself to break the silence. I took it upon myself to call that demon out by its name. And after doing that, I've lost a lot of family members. People won't speak to me. People have gone about and threatened other people for speaking to me. And I don't feel bad about it. In the beginning, I would say it hurt because I'm like, how do you cut me off for what happened to me? How do you hate me for something that happened to me, something that I experienced? How do you turn your back on me for sharing my own pain, my own trauma, my own experiences of my childhood? And then I finally got to the point after for so long, okay. It got to the point where I was just like, okay, listen, I didn't do it for you. I did it for me. I did it for my bloodline. Because some things are deeper than conversations, right? When it comes to abuse of all kind, because I've experienced different forms of abuse, and I share that experience, and like I said, it wasn't taken well, but that's not my problem. And I had to realize that's not my problem. I'm not going to just sit on pain that I can help other people with. I'm not going to just sit on something that God can use simply because of the fact that I want it to be silent so I can continue to be liked and quote unquote loved by family members. No, that's not the life I want to live. That's not the life I'm going to teach my children to live. And if I have to break that chain to make sure that same demon don't creep up on my children, I will absolutely do that. And I would do it again. And I don't care I don't care about the feelings that I hurt in the process, because how dare you think that this is about you? So whatever went on in your bloodline, your trauma, your childhood, whatever it is, it's time to break the silence about. I want you to understand that in the process of breaking this silence, you will lose people. You will have people that don't believe you. You will have people that do believe you, but they're just upset that you actually opened your mouth and said something. They feel betrayed. They feel like you betrayed the family. They feel like that you have should have kept it to yourself. But I want you to understand that it's not about them. It's not about them. You have to understand that the Lord cannot use you. The Lord cannot use you if you refuse to stop living under other people's expectations. If you want to live your life people pleasing people, if you want to live your life hoping that you don't upset someone or you're walking on eggshells, the Lord cannot use you to your fullest potential, because you are more afraid of them than you are Him. You are afraid of the people that God created, and God is the one trying to use you. He can absolutely move them out of the way, shut their mouths, and send them on somewhere else. Trust me. He absolutely can. And if you revealing your truth, if you breaking your silence, means that you will never speak to those people again. The Lord will restore joy in such a way where you won't even miss them. Do you understand? When the Lord uses your pain, there is a gift that comes with that. There is a gift in that. Usually your gift is around your pain. Nothing you go through, the Lord won't use. He will absolutely use it. In these families, when we are keeping things quiet, hush, swept under the rug, depending on the severity of the silence of what is being swept up under the rug, if it's not brought to the front line, it is passed through generations. If abuse is not brought through the front line, it is passed through generations. If someone is being touched and it's not brought forth in the family and it's just silenced, no one is stopping it from happening to the next person. No one is stopping anything. It just keeps cycling through the family, and it keeps going on and 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 on until eventually that person is not here anymore. And then you hope there's not someone else going through the family. So depending on what your silence is, depending on what your trauma is, speak on it. Talk about it. If it's in your heart, if you remember it, whether it happened to you or you've seen it happen to somebody else, you've seen it happen to your mom, speak about it. Talk about it. Get it out in the opening. Because holding it in is not helping any of us. Holding it in is not helping any of us. And honestly, holding it in is doing nothing but causing generational curses. And we're allowing it to run rampant in these families. And it's time to break through. It's time to break free from that. So, that's just my little nugget, partially of my testimony. I will go into my testimony on a different day, on a different episode. But you are not betraying your family, okay? You are speaking your truth, and you have every right to do so. And if they don't like it, then they just don't like it. But you serve a good God who will make sure that your pain and your suffering will be turned to joy. He will use it, and He will restore you of all the years you felt like you've lost. Okay? So I want to thank you for tuning into this podcast. I want to thank you for tuning into Previously Wounded's first episode, okay? If this episode spoke to your heart, share it with another woman who's ready to break her silence too. And remember, healing isn't loud, but it is powerful. All right? Until next time, keep walking in kingdom resilience and grace.